The NBA is one intense league. Besides the constant display of physicality, you will find that these games are quite stressful and suspenseful, so naturally, players lose their temper at times. This has resulted in a lot of heated interactions amongst players, resulting in crazy moments. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be talking about some of the most heated and angry moments in the NBA. You must be wondering, what are these heated moments and what caused them to begin in the first place? Well, stick around till the end as we answer these questions and more as we delve into the intricacies surrounding these heated moments. Without further ado, let us begin. Number 1. Russell Westbrook versus Kevin Durant. What better way to start off the video than discussing one of the most heated rivalries in NBA history? I am sure you all know about the famous Westbrook versus KD rivalry. It all started when KD left the Thunder to join the Warriors and, as a result, betrayed Westbrook in the process. This was to spark a rivalry between the two talented players, which was showcased when the Warriors faced off against the Thunder. Words were exchanged between the two throughout the match, and things took an ugly turn when Westbrook stopped KD from scoring. The two had to be separated by other players as they kept on jawing each other. Somebody turn on the AC as things are getting heated here. Number 2. Trae Young versus the Grizzlies. Trae Young is notorious for being the villain in the NBA. He did the same when he shoved Grayson Allen down to the floor while he was driving inside of the Hawks' basket, trying to score for the Grizzlies. The funny thing is that this was completely uncalled for, as Allen had done nothing wrong. Goes on to show what a nuisance Trae Young can be sometimes. Number 3. Nikola Jokic versus the Warriors. Nikola Jokic is widely considered one of the best players in the NBA right now. But things took a big turn for Joker in this game against the Warriors. The Nuggets have had a really good run with Jokic at their helm, with the team consistently playing well. So when they were losing against the Warriors, Jokic couldn't handle his emotions, and his anger got the better of him. He lashed out and got ejected. I guess the Joker was taking notes from Batman. Number 4. Joel Embiid versus Marcus Morris. Just like Nikola Jokic, another player who has been bossing the league recently is Joel Embiid. Both of them player center, they are usually in the thick of things when it comes to squaring off with opponents. The same happened when Embiid clashed with Morris. When Embiid got the ball in the Clippers' D, he got fouled by Morris. All was well, but Embiid got heated and exchanged some words with Morris, which ended up in both players shoving each other. The fact that it was the fourth quarter of a close game just added fuel to the fire. But what looked like something which was about to become a fight soon cooled off as Embiid backed off, getting ready for his free throw. Number 5. Paul George versus Devin Booker. Paul George is one outstanding player, but he rarely gets into clashes with other players. But things took a turn for the worse when he locked jaws with Devin Booker. It all started when George tried to drive in but got himself tangled with a Suns player. Nothing seemed wrong as such, and both got back to their feet. But George said something which Booker didn't take lightly. He retorted back in defense of his teammate, which really angered the already heated George. The two had to be separated by the rest of the players. To be honest, if there was no one around them, George would have become physical considering how heated he looked. Good thing we had some sane players around, eh? Number 6. Anthony Edwards versus Jimmy Butler. Ever since Anthony Edwards entered the NBA, he has quickly made a name for himself as one of the most explosive young players out there. His athleticism knows no boundaries, and no wonder he is considered a threat whenever he is on the court. However, you need to control yourself when you're up against a fiery veteran like Jimmy Butler. It all started when Edwards drove in and tried to turn back on his left foot pivot. With Jimmy Buckets pressurizing him, he shifted his pivot, which resulted in a travel call. Butler, who wanted the play to quickly resume, tried to take the ball from Edwards, but Edwards reacted strongly to this. As a result, the two squared off with the rest of the players separating them. Edwards had the last laugh, though, when posterized a Heat player with a thunderous dunk. Number 7. Joel Embiid versus Karl Anthony Towns. Oh my, we have a feisty one in our hands. This is perhaps one of the most heated moments in the NBA recently. It all started in the third quarter. The game was going on normally, with Embiid's 76ers leading 448 by around 20 points to Towns' Timberwolves. Towns tried to drive in, and he was guarded by Embiid, which he successfully did. This started a fast break for the 76ers. However, after stealing the ball from him, Embiid got into a spat with Towns. Things turned worse as the two big men got tangled up under the basket and started to wrestle each other to the ground. Eventually, they had to be separated by their teammates and the refs, and things quickly got physical with shoving and a furious exchange of words as more and more players entered the war zone of players wrestling. I am telling you, it was a war zone. Number 8. Rudy Gobert goes crazy. Rudy Gobert has to be one of the tallest players in the NBA, but he has a reputation for being soft for his height. In this case, however, he wasn't soft at all. He was ferocious. In a game against the Rockets, Gobert receives a technical for shoving Harden down in the game, but that seemed like a mistake. He was so furious with the call that he swiped at the water bottles on a courtside table, throwing them down. You have to be ejected after that. Number 9. Giannis versus Kanter. There is quite a trend in most of these heated moments. The majority of the players involved are big men clashing off with their counterparts. The same happened between Giannis and Kanter. When Giannis was driving inside to score, he was fouled by Kanter. Giannis retorted by squaring off to him, and the two started to headbutt each other. Good thing Giannis is a calm individual, as he didn't want to make things ugly by getting physical, but he made sure his words were heard by Kanter. Number 10. Draymond Green versus James Harden. Normally, you see altercations happening in the dying moments of the game when things are intense, but not in this heated moment when Green took on Harden in the early minutes of the first quarter. Can you believe it? Harden drove in and scored a tough basket over. Number 11. 𝗀𝗀𝗃 𝗖𝗎 versus Andre Drummond. This is one fight you did not see coming. It all started when 𝗖𝗎 and Drummond were trying to grab the rebound that fell between them. As they tussled with the ball, things got a little out of hand and the two got a little physical in the process. Things took a turn for the worse when they started to square each other off. In the end, Drummond pushed 𝗖𝗎, who went berserk and started to charge him in retaliation. He even shoved a ref in the process. So things got pretty ugly, as you can imagine. In the end, both of them were rightfully ejected. Number 12. Crowder versus Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. Westbrook has always been a nuisance in the league. He is pretty fiery and loves to square off and talk smack with anyone. He did the same against Crowder when he shoved him after Crowder tried to run away for the fast break. Crowder obviously was incensed at this and tried to retaliate, but he was met by Carmelo Anthony, who tried to defend Westbrook and take matters into his own hands. This resulted in Melo and Crowder shoving, while the rest of the players started to get involved. In the end, they were slowly separated by the players and the refs at hand. Crazy, isn't it? Well, if you found this crazy, wait till you hear the next one. I'm telling you, it is completely insane. Number 13. Chris Paul versus Rajon Rondo. Last but not least, we have one of the biggest fights in NBA history. This one had pure fighting in it. It all started when Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo got into a heated argument in the game's fourth quarter. Things were already heated after Brandon Ingram fouled Harden. While the Rockets were protesting for a technical, Ingram again shoved Harden in frustration, so you can imagine it was already getting ugly. Afterward, the two teams were heatedly discussing the Ingram foul, where Rondo allegedly spat in Paul's face. Paul was infuriated and poked Rondo in the face in response. Well, Rondo being Rondo, he straight up started throwing punches. Paul started throwing punches too. And all of a sudden, there was a fight between members of both teams. Ingram also came out of nowhere and started throwing punches. In the end, Rondo was dismissed from the game for the punch, and Paul and Ingram were both dismissed for their involvement in the incident following a review by referees and video replay. Later, the NBA handed out 3-game, 4-game, and 2-game bans to Rondo, Ingram, and Paul respectively. Damn, those punches were crazy. Thanks for taking the time to watch our video. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new video from us. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like and leave a comment. And if you have any suggestions or requests, let us know in the comments. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.